I love that. Lean it down a bit, maybe. Oh, that's cool.
We're going to be over to one side. Whatever. Let's get this thing started, man. Let's get it.
See, I wish we would have been able to talk about Born Again, but the writer's strike had to happen. So that came out this year.
But we can preview it, right? Charlie Cox is here. We got to preview it.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of time
he'll show up. An hour.
We'll see.
Sure.
It says the stream is going. The camera. Actually, can you slide that camera a little bit over? That's what I was trying to get. Is us like more centered?
No more.
Wait, is it the right camera?
There we go. It reverses. Remember?
Okay. Yeah, it's weird.
Cool.
All right.
Hello.
That was easy listening. Okay. Are you ready, sir?
Testing your speakers.
Are you ready, sir?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if I like this stand. All right. Okay.
Hi, Mom. She's probably asleep right now, so.
Okay. We're live now.
I know.
We're live.
Yeah, we're live.
All right.
At GalaxyCon.
At GalaxyCon Columbus.
GalaxyCon Columbus, yeah.
We are. Welcome to Marvel Plus, the podcast devoted to all things MCU. I've been doing this since the first Disney Plus series dropped. Been going strong, covering every series, every episode, every movie. Everything.
What was the first one? Does anyone remember what? WandaVision? WandaVision, okay.
Yeah. My name is Bret Scott. I'm the host of the show, and this is my good friend Alejandro Martinez.
Hello, I am not the host of the show.
No, but
I'm just here to have fun.
This is actually really cool. We met last year right here doing this. I was up here by myself, and I didn't want to do it by myself because I don't like speaking in front of an audience, believe it or not. And I said, would anyone like to volunteer to come up here and like share this embarrassment with me? And he volunteered, and he came up and he shared his top 5. Like he jumped right on the podcast and did a live show with me. And we've been friends ever since. We've recorded some like other stuff throughout the year. We did, what did we do? A Power Rangers Once and Always review together, like all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So
some Loki, of course.
Yeah. Talk some Loki. So it's going to be an interesting day today because we're talking 2023 MCU film series.
Which compared to last year, A, is much less material, and B, quality has probably gone down, and I think we can all agree on that. Yeah. For some. Yeah.
As much as I hate to say it, it's true. It's just not what it was. But I have hope. I still got hope because of the stuff we've got coming up. Like I still have hope, and with the stuff they're doing right now with management changing and kind of saying they're getting their priorities in order, I feel pretty good about it. I feel pretty good about them stepping back. We're only getting one film next year, which is the Deadpool film.
Madam Web. Marvel? Is that MCU? That's a whole nother argument right there.
Because that's Sony, right? That's like Sony. A Spider-Man film. But like the Disney Marvel universe is putting out one film next year.
Deadpool 3. Ryan Reynolds.
And I feel like that's going to be massive. I mean, that's going to be, that might be the biggest R-rated film ever.
Is it for sure R-rated?
For sure R-rated.
Okay.
So.
Yes.
I feel really good about that. Like, I don't think they can mess that up. Not with bringing Jackman back, not with Ryan Reynolds' input.
And I'm sure it'll be cameos galore, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Like, give me Professor X, right? Give me the not Jennifer
Lawrence.
Not Jennifer Lawrence Mystique.
Yeah.
Bring back Rebecca Romijn. Let's go. Let's go ham.
Yeah. I'm very excited. And I like the idea that they're only doing one film. It's like, we need to get back to that. Like, give us some time in between stuff. Give us some anticipation for what's to come. We don't need a series or movie at all times to be playing, on Disney Plus. We don't.
This is true.
But not as much.
So
what is originally we're going to get like Ironheart and all this stuff. I didn't see that on the list at all. I don't know if they're scrapping that. I don't know.
Hopefully not.
Haven't seen that. But what is coming next year, series wise?
We got Daredevil Born Again. We got Agatha. Echo.
That looks incredible.
In a few weeks. Yep. What If season 2 later this year?
That's the thing that gives me hope. I watched that Echo trailer, and I was not expecting anything from it. But when I watched it and saw the dark themes of it, and saw that it's a TV MA or TV 14 or whatever it is, it reminded me of, you know, Daredevil, like maybe the greatest series ever made. Like I feel like, go ahead.
I went to their Q&A and tried to like ask about how they felt about how the production of the new show is going. They couldn't really say any. Like,
of course.
Oh,
not.
I bet those NDAs are.
Like I wasn't asking for plot, you know, just asking like how they felt about the production, but they couldn't say anything. But what Vincent D'Onofrio said was like, "Have you seen the Echo trailer?" I'm like, yeah. Well, then you're gonna sing Born Again.
Okay. Like in that boardroom earlier, the Marvel snipers were probably there too, just watching, listening.
Yeah. Don't. Hey, has everybody seen the Echo trailer? Yeah. What do we like it? Generally, it seemed like just a change in tone. It's like, oh, okay, this is what gives me hope. That and Deadpool coming, I'm excited. Like I can be hopeful for the future of the MCU. Plus the X-Men are coming. I've been waiting for this for so long.
Oh, is that a spoiler? Hopefully not.
I have shameful admittance. I've never watched them.
That's all right.
It's okay. You got time.
Yeah,
you got time, baby.
And you don't even need to. That's the thing, is you don't really need to, because they're going to start over. Like, this is going to be hopefully an even better version of the X-Men that we got with Fox. I mean, I've been waiting for Marvel Studios to have their hands on an X-Men project for a long time. Long time.
We'll see it. It's coming. It's here.
Also, X-Men 97 comes out this year on Disney Plus. So that's awesome. I mean, it's my childhood. I love it.
But why don't we get into ranking this year's media? Let's say, right? So we got 5 that came out this year, right? We got Loki, Secret Invasion, the Marvels. I'm not saying these in any order. Quantumania and Guardians 3. And so the way we're hoping to do this is, you will start. We're number 5, the lowest ranked for Bret this year.
Sure.
And then I'll go. And then we kind of want to hear from y'all too, right? Like, y'all have opinions. Maybe you disagree with us. Maybe you agree with us. Maybe you have no opinion, like for Quantumania or some of those other shows like Secret Invasion, in which case we still want to hear your opinion. Okay.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah. It's going to be fun. Yeah. So we've talked to the audience beforehand, guys, and the people are going to volunteer to give their opinions on some of these things. Each time we get to a new movie or series we haven't talked about yet, we're going to ask what they think as well.
Let's do it.
It'll be part of the show. All right. You ready to get it going?
Let's do it. So what is your number 5 for this year? The worst Marvel project that came out this year for you?
That makes it sound bad. It's not the worst. It's just the worst of what came out. It's not okay. It probably is the worst though. So my number 5 is Ant-Man and the Wasp.
What?
Quantumania. I knew you were gonna. I knew you were gonna hate me.
No.
Okay. So
tell me why.
Right. Yeah, let's talk about it. Ant-Man and the Wasp. It was too much, man. Ant-Man is a street level character. He's much better.
Have you read an Ant-Man comic?
I've watched the Ant-Man film.
That's not what I asked.
Okay. Is this an Ant-Man comics podcast right now?
Evangeline Lilly
is
in
this an MCU
building.
Podcast
she will
now?
come fight you.
Okay. So my issue with Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is I had huge expectations for it. I was like, we're gonna get Kang finally for real. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be, and he's gonna be terrifying. Like we're gonna be scared of what's coming. This Kang dynasty, like we're gonna get real worried after we meet Kang or a version of Kang. I don't know. I wasn't really that scared when I got done with Kang. And also, I feel like, at least in those films with Paul Rudd, I feel like they're as a street level character. Going down in the quantum realm was a cool concept, but I think it just got too silly. It got too silly in that movie. I I was just expecting more, man. I wanted some real fear of this new villain that's supposed to be the big bad of the MCU. Wasn't feeling that, and I love Jonathan Majors stuff. Like,
so he's a real villain in real life too.
Yeah, there you go. It's a we allegedly
we believe survivors in this household.
So I don't know. Like, I've enjoyed his acting up until then. I was excited when he first started playing Kang. Like when he showed up as He Who Remains, I'm like, okay, this dude, like this is good. And he played it fine.
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't that intimidated by the end, you know? So I don't know. That's my take. Ant-Man and the Wasp is my number 5. I know you disagree because you let it slip to me a couple of weeks ago.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oops.
So maybe I just picked it just to create this little.
Oh, you absolutely.
Okay. What's your number 5 then? Since you think Ant-Man and the Wasp was so great, what do you think?
My number 5 was Secret Invasion, and I don't think many people would disagree.
I could see that. I could see that coming.
I mean, so Secret Invasion comes out summer, right? Nicholas J. Fury, right? Samuel L. Jackson. I was expecting a certain level of gravitas for coming from the acting, but I think it was a hot mess. You know, I think it probably could have been better as a movie. You know, give me a 90-minute, 2-hour movie or whatever. There was just too much fluff, and I felt like Fury was just kind of out of character. You know, I will say I think it had some things that could have gone well. I like the idea of it, right? Like it could have been this critique, right, of like xenophobia, anti-immigrant rhetoric. Like, what does it mean when immigrants are coming to a new country and needing support, right? But instead, it was just this small thing that, like, I don't know if all of y'all have seen it. If you haven't seen it, you could probably continue into the MCU having not seen it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yes, we were introduced to Emilia Clarke's Gaia. Okay, like, great. Another Captain Marvel level character. And is she going to show up in a film? Maybe. But if she does, she's basically overpowered.
She is.
Like, she has quite literally every power we've had so far. Sonya Falsworth, you know, I think that could have gone somewhere, right? She's supposed to be granddaughter of Captain Britain, I think, right? Or Union Jack, one of those characters. Yeah, Captain Britain.
Well, isn't it Captain Carter?
No, so Falsworth is one of the Howling Commandos. Right, and it's supposed to be like her, like Sonya Falsworth is supposed to be like the granddaughter of him, whose actress I'm forgetting. Olivia Colman, how could I forget that? So like you have all these characters, right? You have all these really bad actors and had really shitty lines, really bad stories. I think that if you tell me on just like, oh, this is a story about Nick Fury who is aging, who is going to handle a crisis that he created because of his own broken promise, I'm like, okay, this could be interesting. This is cool character development. He's getting old. Let's see it, right? And it just missed on all fires for me. It missed on all shots. Like, I was missing something to latch onto. I didn't feel for the characters. I didn't feel for the Skrulls. You know, if this was supposed, because in the comics, Secret Invasion is this huge thing, right? Like, who do we trust? Who do we not trust? Oh shit, Captain America's a Skrull. Oh shit, Hawkeye's a Skrull. Like, oh shit, everyone's a Skrull.
Yeah. It's all nobodies.
Yeah, like Rhodey's a Skrull.
Okay.
Great. Oh, no, he's not. He was sleeping the whole time. And we don't know when he got taken over.
Yeah, I think that actually might be the only thing that came out of that might turn into something cool.
Yeah.
Is like him reintegrating into society, and like finding out that, you know,
how much did
all
he
his
miss?
friends died. And
was he there for Tony dying? You know, was he there at the battle in Endgame? Like,
right. And if he wasn't, that could be
right.
You could do some creative storytelling with that.
Right. But yeah, so for me, Secret Invasion was bottom of the charts for me.
Okay.
Isn't it alleged that Rhodey has been a Skrull since Civil War? You know, when he got blasted.
Since Civil War, yeah.
Yeah, which to me feels like a cheap cop out to try and bring Tony Stark back into this mix, because you know they're going to try to pull the card that Rhodey doesn't know that Tony Stark is dead, and they're going to try to make it like this big selling point of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And will it happen? Won't it happen? Who knows?
They might just scrap everything. You know what I mean? Like, Like you said, haven't seen the series. Like, who cares?
Yeah,
maybe they'll just roll with that. You know?
And on the one hand, I am of the firm belief that you should not have to see the series to understand the movies. So I'm like, okay, it checks that box, but you don't also have to see the series to watch anything else.
That kind of sucks though, because then you have no stakes really in the series. You know it's going to work out exactly like it was when you went in.
That's world building for you. Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, up to season 6.
We forgot, though, after our first discussion of Quantumania, to ask an audience member to take the mic and give their opinions on Quantumania. So, who had Quantumania?
Who wants to talk about Quantumania with us?
Was it you? You said Quantumania? Yeah, let's hear your opinion on Quantumania. See, I have it as my worst. He has it somewhere else on his list.
What are the 5 again, so I can rank it?
So we got Quantumania.
Oh, you want to give your ranking?
Yeah, ranking, and then I'll just so it's
Quantumania, The Marvels, Guardians 3, Loki, and Secret Invasion.
So I will admit I haven't seen all of Loki season 2, so I can't really properly rank it. So out of the other 4, I would probably have to place this one at, actually, I would say number 3. I would say, so not the worst one, but about the middle. Like, like it was a little bit worse than the Marvels to me, but not by necessarily a long shot. I guess what I felt about the movie is it clearly felt a movie that had been taken apart, reshot, and like stitched back together. Like there was a lot of cuts that just didn't make sense. And I really thought they were going to go with the storyline where Scott Lang dies, and then, you introduce the Young Avengers through that pathway, but he didn't die. And also, Ant-Man Quantumania broke a historical Marvel tradition in a really bad way. So in the third movies of like whatever a series is, the main character loses something important. So Tony loses his suit, Cap loses his shield, the Guardians, they lose the Guardians.
Yeah.
What did he lose in this movie?
An ant, maybe.
Or
2.
And it's Ant-Man. There was hardly any ants in the movie. Like, but but it wasn't as bad as people were saying. Like I saw a lot of comments like, "Oh, this is the fall of Marvel." It wasn't good, but it wasn't as bad as people were saying.
Question of the audience: would anyone want to defend Quantumania? Yeah, go for it.
You're gonna get a chance to do that, sir.
Who knows?
Let's hear it.
I actually would rank Quantumania 3 for a different reason. So one of the things I really liked about Quantumania is actually getting to see Hope out in action.
Yeah.
Though it has end credit scenes, one of my favorites, mostly because I'm a Tom Hiddleston girl. I like Loki.
Yes.
But you actually kind of get to see the fear of Loki's eyes of what Kang actually really means.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, the golden rule about Marvel's three movies. I think Scott is a little bit of his mental health because he's trapped back there. Everybody else is home safe. He's trapped. He's actually seen how bad Kang can get.
He has this pressure now.
Yeah, he knows, but nobody else does. So he's starting to kind of like lose mental health a little bit because he can't tell him. He can't because he has no proof.
Yeah.
But it's gonna weigh in on him until he can or until he can do something about it.
Yeah. Well, and so this is why I put Quantumania.
You can't tell what it is yet. Don't reveal it.
What if it's next?
It's not, is it?
I put Quantumania 4.
Okay. What is my turn? So just hold on for a minute. I did want to. What else have we? What did you just rank last? Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we got
Secret
Invasion. Yeah. Yeah. Nobody really wanted to talk about that one anyway. Remember, the audience. We talked earlier. We asked the audience, and no one wanted to talk about Secret Invasion. Yeah.
Hey, they did their work. They got their checks. Good for them. We support the strike.
I stopped watching it because I couldn't handle it anymore, and then I looked up summaries.
I don't blame
There
you.
you go. I do want to say too, I didn't mention earlier that anyone who does participate is going to get a shirt. I brought some shirts along with me, so everyone will get a shirt. We can do that after the show though.
Yeah.
The only further thing I have to say about Secret Invasion is that maybe this is just me. I don't know if there's anyone else here, but I really wanted to see Nick Fury and Maria Hill become a thing, and finding out that he was married to a Skrull kind of was like.
That was a weird storyline. Anyway.
I liked that storyline.
Did you like it?
I liked it. I liked it. Defend, please. Yeah. Sure. Our one Secret Invasion comment. Tell me.
Okay, so I'm not here to defend Secret Invasion as a show.
Fair.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I really like the concept. I like the concept number one. Long-term intelligence agency. That's, it number one, it adds a lot of interesting moral ambiguity to Nick Fury that the show doesn't particularly explore, but it's a really interesting concept. And it also just like adds some cool flavor and texture to like that character's history.
Yeah.
And so with all of that, I think that the idea of him having, number one, the idea of him having a wife who was a Skrull, and if it had been intentional for the audience, does he know? Does he not know? Is this is he the spy master that knows all and yet he doesn't know something so like core to someone that is so close to him?
Right.
But even if he does know, making that something that is in a weird way sort of the ultimate spy power couple is, I think, a neat concept.
Very sexy, yes.
Yeah,
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah,
I love that. I would watch that.
Yeah, no, conceptually, I think it's a really cool idea. Execution, you can talk about it, but I think conceptually, really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like. Yeah, I like the idea that he had a wife at home that we didn't know about, much like Hawkeye did, for a long time.
You know what would have been the best drama? If his wife was a Kree.
Ooh.
Hire me, Marvel.
Yeah.
Hire me.
Yeah.
So what's your number 4 then?
Well, before we get to my number 4,
okay.
I want to say the people that are participating are going to get a shirt.
Yes.
These are great shirts. My wife made these shirts, and she spent a lot of time on them, and I just wanted to say thank you.
Yes. Thank you
for doing that, because she spent a lot of time like putting it together.
Woo!
Yes. It originally just said Marvel Plus, and then we're like, we should add podcast. And then she went back and she like spent a whole extra day adding podcasts to all the shirts. So it was like,
she's a good one. We love her.
Yes. Okay. On my number 4. Okay. My number 4 is Secret Invasion. So we don't really need to talk a whole lot about that.
It's such a secret invasion. No one's ever going to know about it in the MCU.
It's you just stay secret. It's fine.
It's secret.
Yeah.
It's a folder somewhere.
We'll just keep it a secret.
Burned. Yes. Yo, no, I will defend Eternals.
Come on.
I love Eternals.
Yeah, you guys should go back and listen to last year's, because we did 2022 as well. And
is it like a YouTube channel or something?
We are on anywhere you find your podcast.
Yeah, it's a podcast, Marvel Plus. You can find it anywhere you get podcasts. And then also you can go to my YouTube channel's Daily BS, and I put them on there as well.
Mostly because that's his initials, not just because it's bullshit.
Tell people that. All right.
So can I go to my number 4 then?
Is that where we're at?
Yeah.
What's your number 4?
Quantumania.
I thought it was your number 1. That's why I thought it was a big deal that I put it 5.
How dare you ever think I would put that number 1?
Why did you make such a big deal about me putting it number 5? Then you're like, are you kidding me?
The Secret Invasion.
Come. Okay.
So
we both got them like 4 or 5.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it, and as such, it's number 4. I personally think it's a fun movie. The only thing that it really has going for it, though, is that it's an easy watch, and that's kind of it. Like, you watch it.
I didn't hate
some
it.
popcorn.
It was just the worst of the 5, man.
That's your opinion.
Yeah.
I think the hard thing is with Ant-Man, and you fell into this, you expected some epic showdown with a new villain.
It's called Quantumania. All about Kang.
Quantumania is not a word.
It's an MCU
if it was like
word.
Ant-Man and the death. Like, oh, okay, great. It's like
I would have been hyped for that.
I think people expected Scott in like this serious role, and what it is at its core, it's a family movie, you know, which is what I like about the Ant-Man movies. Like ever since the first one, I read that book. It is a fantastic book.
That's cool.
Evangeline Lilly, yes. Number one, if anyone got to meet her, she is gorgeous. And she's hilarious. So that's also why I love this movie, because Evangeline Lilly is amazing. Also, she's from Lord of the Rings, right? Yes.
Let's calm down though. You ranked it number 4. You don't like this movie. You ranked
I don't
number
love
4.
it, but I don't hate it either.
Okay.
I thought it was funny. I did like some of the character development for Scott, for Janet, for Hope, and for Cassie. I do think the recast of Cassie didn't go the way they wanted it to.
Why'd they even?
There was just some disconnecting chemistry, I think, for me between the two. The fighting scenes were good for me. I didn't like the cast that they had in the microverse or the teenyverse, whatever it's called. Like, okay, great. Like, I get that they were trying to show like, here's the chaos and evil of Kang, you know, here's these fighters, but there wasn't enough scenes for me to care about them, so that when they started dying, I was like, all right, I'm not going to see you again anyway, Gentora. Like, great.
Yeah, no, I felt the same way. That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't care about anything that happened in the quantum realm at all.
But I thought Kang was vicious. The way Jonathan Majors was able, like, there was this scene where he's holding Scott hostage, and he's like, I will let you go. Or no, I will let you go, or I will kill your daughter. And he's just like, so sweet, like, I will kill your daughter.
Yeah.
Pan evil. I'm like, that's top tier acting for me. I personally don't think this Kang is dead. And I also don't think this is the Kang that's supposed to be the main villain.
Well, I hope not. Yeah.
I mean, we've met 8 at this point, right? Yeah. Like, I don't think we know who the main villain Kang is. And
no,
I don't think
we've seen him yet. Yeah.
Right. We should eventually, yes. But I also don't, I mean, there's rumors, right, that he didn't actually die.
There's also rumors that they might scrap the whole Kang idea and just
this
move
is true.
Right into some
this
other
is
stuff.
true. But also they're variants. They don't have to have the same actor. Look at Loki.
That's what I thought too. I thought as great as he is as an actor, recast him.
Well,
it's
not
going to
matter. The biggest rule in all nerd fandom, if you don't see a dead body, they're probably not dead. I didn't see a dead body. I don't think he's dead.
100%.
But it also had its flaws. The CGI was a mess. Bill Murray did not have to be in this movie at all. I did hear, you know, a lot of stuff was cut, so it makes sense why it was such a mess. Would I watch it again? Maybe, if you paid me $1.
So wait, did you watch it again? It's on Disney Plus. Did you watch it a second time?
I did, just for the final, like the fight scenes.
Okay.
MODOK was in it.
Yeah,
that's it. He was in it. No, that's not how he's in the comics.
No.
I love Corey Stoll. I thought it was smart to bring him back as MODOK. I don't think the MODOK storyline was good, but I love MODOK. He's a
storyline in Quantumania is literally Cassie.
It's camp.
Tells him don't be a dick, and he's like, all right, I'm not more.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that a little bit, but not enough to rank it higher than a 4.
Okay.
So that's why Quantumania is my 4.
The whole situation, what really grinded my gears is not necessarily that they decided to go with a different actor. It's that the way that the old Cassie found out was via the internet. People were asking her why she wasn't on the cast.
Yeah, like I love Catherine Newton. I think she's fantastic. I don't think she was fantastic in this film. Will she turn it around for the future? Sure. I think bouncing her off with, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
At the end, we'll talk.
All right. So what's your number 3 then? So okay. So agreed that the worst 2 of the year.
Yeah, for sure.
Are Quantumania and Secret Invasion.
No question.
What's your number 3?
Number 3. Oh, I remember.
You're gonna say it. I'm gonna
this is what's gonna upset you. That's right. This is what you let slip. My number 3 is the Marvels.
I'm not gonna react.
Yeah. I love.
Did you watch? No, I think this is important context. Did you watch Miss Marvel and did you watch WandaVision?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
I watched Captain Marvel.
So you knew Monica.
All my homework was done.
You knew. Okay, Kamala. Okay.
Yeah. 100%. I review it episode by episode. What do you mean? Did I watch it? Okay. The Marvels.
Question everything.
I love Iman Vellani.
Amen. Yes.
I love Kamala. I think she was a really great character in the series. I thought she was really great in this movie. I'm not as big of a fan of Carol Danvers or Monica Rambeau. They didn't do it for me. Like, Carol Danvers is like, okay. Is it Brie Larson? I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. I think Monica Rambeau, I just feel like wasn't 100% necessary. Like, I get what they're doing with the film, but like even in WandaVision, I thought it was like they shoehorned that in. Like, we got to introduce this new character.
She's not a new character.
What?
She was in Captain Marvel.
They introduced a new superhero. They had to work her origin story into WandaVision, and then now she just. Let me just tell you the things I liked first. It's number 3. It's not way down on my list. It's right in the middle. Iman Vellani is a standout.
Yeah,
love her. I love that she was a member of the fandom before she ever became cast in anything MCU.
Talk about any of our dreams.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Yeah. Like Kevin Feige, call me up.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'll play, but call me up.
Yeah. You and every other MCU fan. Like, but it's crazy. It's a crazy story because she grew up with the MCU.
Yeah.
And then she got to be part of it. Like, how cool is that? As like her first thing.
Literally her first acting role. Yeah.
So I thought she was charming. Even the Miss Marvel series, I wasn't a huge fan of. But I loved all the character stuff. I loved all her and her family stuff, but the villain, like, kind of lame. Her though. So in this movie, she was really great. Monica Rambeau was okay, and Carol Danvers was all right. I love the body swapping stuff. I love when they switched out constantly and then learned how to control it. Like, that was all really cool stuff.
Apparently, those fight scenes were inspired by Final Fantasy Advent Children.
Really?
Yeah, that's what the director said. Which I'm like, all right, I can get behind that.
Interesting. Yeah, I actually thought the action was pretty cool in it.
Yeah.
Just because of that. It might not have been as cool if they weren't swapping like that all the time. But I thought it was cool that they learned how to control it, and then they would, as soon as they use their powers, they would swap.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a cool way to do action. Other than that, like, I thought the villain was all right. But the movie as a whole, it's number 3, man. You know, it was okay. It wasn't terrible. I enjoyed myself when I went and saw it. My daughter enjoyed it. So no real complaints. It's just that the other 2 on my list are better than that. So, does anyone else want to share something about the Marvels?
Yeah, go ahead,
sir.
It's on.
It's on. Yeah, so when I was originally watched the Marvels, excited about it because it was supposed to be this massive movie.
Yeah,
it was supposed to help set the direction for the MCU, but I think they dropped the ball on that because other than what happened with Monica Rambeau, there wasn't
in the post credits.
Yeah, and they did drop the ball with Dana Carver, right? Like, they could have built her character a lot more than they did.
Carol,
Then they had that whole scene with her being a queen, or
I thought that was camp.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I thought it was a funny scene, but was it really necessary for
the society that speaks only in song? Is that what you're talking about?
That's straight.
Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I know it's straight from the comic. I get it. I
would go there.
And if you like musicals, that was probably your favorite part of the film.
She's a Disney princess.
Yeah.
But I felt it didn't further the story. It was just a fun little thing they threw.
Yeah.
But on the positive note, the cats were hilarious. And yes, Miss Marvel was the standout. Yeah. Hands down.
Yeah. I'm hearing a comment over here. Yeah.
Yeah,
go for it. Go for it.
I would like to.
Oh, we're fighting now. Yes.
I'm defending it. it's tied for my number 2 as far as rankings this go. I really liked it. I didn't expect it go into expecting this giant leap forward Marvel. I was like, this is gonna be good, and it was good. It was exactly what we needed. It was a fun, silly movie. The villain didn't have to be this big, incredible thing. It was just she served the story of the plot, and everything was good. It was funny. Genuinely, I laughed. I think more times at that movie than I did at, as far as many movies I can remember.
Much more than Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
The cat scene is definitely in my top 10. It might be one of my favorite Marvel scenes of all time.
Yes.
Because I genuinely loved it. I thought it was funny. Of course, Comic-Con was the best part. But I liked how it was with Carol and Monica. I felt like their story was understated, but it was very there, and they were both dealing with stuff. I genuinely liked their storyline of these two people who hadn't seen each other in a very long time dealing with it. And I also really liked juxtaposition about how a child was seeing it and how everything was a lot more explosive and loud and everything. And then the two of them were quietly talking it out. But they actually got me to tear up at some point with emotion as well. They had a very emotional storyline when handling it like adults, where it's about this kid who was running around doing her own stuff. And again, it was just really funny. And also let Brie Larson sing more.
Yeah.
I didn't know she could sing personally.
I like the singing as well.
Scott Pilgrim.
She has an album?
Yeah, she has an album.
What?
And
Theme song.
Scott Pilgrim.
It was, Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
Why couldn't Brie Larson have one?
Fantastic.
New info. Brie Larson has an album.
Fantastic.
All right.
Consider that my number 1 album.
I do gotta say the juxtaposition of Nick Fury having emotions in this movie felt wrong, but overall,
Especially coming from Secret Invasion.
yeah, especially coming from after Secret Invasion. But I do agree that Kamala Khan, that felt like typecasting. Like that was really well done. Honestly, if the villain wasn't so poorly introduced, this probably would have been my number 2.
Valid.
So yeah, I think I would have number 2 this if it wasn't for the villain.
I mean, I am in agreement with everyone. My number 3 too, as well.
Okay.
I thought the cat scene, just the juxtaposition of all these cats around this overhead speaker.
Can I stop you? Has anyone used the word juxtaposition more inside a 5-minute span?
Bro, I'm a therapist.
It's not. Yeah, I know.
But the connection.
That was great.
The overlay.
Juxtaposition. Okay, let's go.
The overlay of the cats eating. You hear on the PA system, "Let the cats eat you," and then memory. As a musical theater nerd, I was like, "This is high camp. I want to do this at a drag show."
It was entertaining. The movie was fun, and I think it was supposed to be a fun romp. Man,
and I'm agreeing with you. I didn't think it had to be a big villain.
Yeah,
I'm already worried about Kang. I don't want to come in and be like, "Oh, great, Ben's gonna try to take over the entire universe too."
Yeah,
I'm cool if it's a one-off. I like the personal touch of it. She's messing up everything Carol Danvers cares about. I'm like, all right, we love that motivation. I'm like, let a villain just be evil to be evil. I don't need them to be fully humanized sometimes.
Yeah.
I actually thought it connected more with Mrs. Marvel, the show, right? In that thing with the bangle was, it's supposed to open to a new universe, right? Well, what happened with when both bangles, it opened a hole to a new universe.
Yeah.
That makes sense now.
Yeah.
Is it going to come back into play later?
I love it too, because do you remember speculating? Did you and I do a Miss Marvel episode?
Yeah.
Do you remember speculating back then about I wonder if this is Kree or?
I thought it was going to be like Terrigen Mists.
Yeah, we were like, I wonder if this is Kree tech, because they didn't say in that, they still left it open, these two bangles that do this thing.
Yeah.
But
open.
It looked like Kree tech,
and maybe this is the last we'll ever see them. Maybe they'll come back, right?
That's okay.
Knowing that I think it was Kree tech, right?
I think so. I think that's
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think that's what it ended up being.
Kamala has theoretically has both. Don't know if it'll ever come back into play,
But it was something that it wasn't on Earth before, and it got brought there. What? That was the whole thing that I was wondering: is it this ancient earthly power, or is it something extraterrestrial? And it was.
They said there was a Kree legend about them. So the Kree at least knew about them.
Yeah.
But what else did I like about? I thought it was a roller coaster of emotions. I thought it was fun without being too stupid. I agree with this juxtaposition of little. Yes, you did. Little Kamala, like, here's my hero. Oh, my hero is flawed.
Yeah.
And then here's Monica, who as a child was like, look at my hero. Now I'm an adult. I'm angry. You left me. You let my mom die. At least that's what I think. You're still flawed. Like that. It was a family. It was a family. I love their dynamic together. I love the training montage because you don't see training montages a lot in films. It's like, I got to fight this bad guy. Next scene, I'm fighting the bad guy.
Yeah.
No, I like their little montage in the ship.
They had to learn how to do the switching and stuff. Like,
exactly.
Like how to master it.
And Kamala's family was amazing.
I'm a sucker for a training montage, dude.
Yeah.
I'm the biggest Rocky fan in the world. Like,
yeah.
Man, like anything that Falcon and the Winter Soldier had an awesome like training
montage.
Yes, it was so good.
I think it could have worked with 10 to 20 more minutes personally. I think there's stuff they could have added on to
for an MCU film.
Yeah. But I think it did its job.
Yeah.
Not amazing, right? But my number 3.
Middle of the road, man. It was okay.
So what is there's only 2 options left. What is your number 2?
There is. My number 2, I know a lot of people throw a lot of praise on this as like the greatest thing in the MCU. But Loki season 2 is my number 2. Loki season 2.
Why?
Well, it got better as it went. I feel like those final 2 episodes were awesome, especially the 5th where Owen Wilson where Loki has to keep going back and back and back. And it was like this
for centuries.
Yes. I love that. I love anything that deals with time travel like that and like has a lot of time pass, whether it's like Highlander and he's like living, forever and watching people die around him, or someone who keeps going back, or like Groundhog Day, right? That was so Groundhog Day, him going back and reliving the same moments and then having to remember what happened last time and then work from there and continue. He learned what did he learn? Like advanced physics or something?
Yeah.
In the course of
centuries.
It took him centuries, and he did it a couple minutes at a time, like learning a little bit each single time. I love that. I thought that was an incredibly fun episode. I thought that, I don't know, it just took me back to like old school sci-fi. Like that's, I love that the time travel aspect of it. Something I thought that Loki was missing a lot. I thought from the beginning Loki was going to be all time travel and timelines. First season gave us like just a couple different places. It was cool in this one to see time travel really come into play, and I really liked how they wrapped it up by just going back to the beginning. Like they started it with the episode Glorious Purpose.
Ouroboros.
It is an Ouroboros, yes.
Yeah.
So
like
episode 1 of season 1 was called Glorious Purpose, and so was the final episode of season 2. And I thought that was great because it was all about him finding his purpose, his actual purpose. Because from the beginning, he's thinking his purpose is just to be a screw up. That's what he's been told. That's what he's been shown over and over in every timeline. He just screws everything up. He wants to be somebody, but he's really not.
Right.
And in this, he finds his purpose, and he's like holding the timeline together. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever revisit Loki or if he's just out there. We know that he's, fulfilling that role in the background.
Right.
And it's okay. Even if we never come back to Loki, just to know that that's where he ended up and he found his purpose and it's holding existence together. It's a pretty big purpose, man.
It is a big purpose.
I thought it was great. I love Owen Wilson. We didn't get to see him on a jet ski, really. But we did get to see him selling jet skis. So halfway there.
He was on it. He just wasn't in the water.
I liked that. I kind of liked that Sylvie took a backseat in this season because she was not my favorite this season. The Loki and her interactions, I think we talked about it last year, was like, it's like, what are they doing? They're romantic with each other, and they are each other. It's very strange. Anyway, I'm glad that she was kind of like not a major plot point this year. We got to see that how she was dealing with things, and how she just wanted to live a normal life. Cool.
Yeah.
But we didn't spend a whole lot of time. She wasn't a huge part of the story.
But she was still his mirror.
Yeah. I'm glad that like take precedence this season, whereas last season was all about like finding this variant and what is her motivation, and you know, her killing He Who Remains.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my thoughts on anybody else.
Loki. Yeah, go for it.
So, as a diehard Loki fan from Thor, just out the gate, one of the things I liked specifically straight from season 1 is through the Thor movies and through Avengers and through Age of Ultron, we got to see more of Loki actually thinks, how he actually feels, instead of the standard, like, I'm coming down here to wreck your planet.
Yeah.
We actually get to like see some of his humanity. And with season 2, I kind of like one of the number one issues I have with a lot of TV shows after several seasons is they tried to shove so much like new character storylines into their pilot episode. And that's kind of the thing I liked about Loki is he took a couple, like the pilot, the episode 2, episode 3 of season 2 to kind of introduce these new characters instead of all trying to cram it into the first episode.
Yeah.
But my father and I were actually talking about the finale of Loki. As we see Loki sitting on the throne, we have a theory that Loki isn't Loki anymore. He is the new He Who Remains. And Loki can't leave the throne.
Right.
Like, he could potentially call in members of like the new Avengers and everything to help fight the Kang Dynasty, but he can't leave the throne. So we could potentially see him again, but he is no longer Loki.
How does he use the bathroom?
Interesting.
These are the real questions.
Built into the seat.
It's built into the seat.
Yeah.
But I gotta admit, the Aurora Borealis shot of the Loki on the throne is probably the most beautiful shots ever. And it really, as somebody who is a hard crush on Tom Hiddleston, it's a beautiful shot. It's a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
Yes,
I would say too that Loki, I think because of the conversation around season 1 and how it seemed to be like the most popular of all the series that they put out. Like everyone was talking about it. Everyone loved it. And I didn't even love it. I thought it was pretty good. But I think that gave him kind of the go ahead to put some more money into season 2 and like really spend the money. And I think that shows, like with all the time travel and the what was it called, time slipping that they did, all that stuff, all the visual effects. Yeah. The spaghettifying, right? Like all the stuff that they did.
Is that what we're calling it?
I don't know.
Spaghettifying.
Pastification. Yeah.
Is it spaghettification?
Does it mean what it means in the show though? Like actually turning into spaghetti? It can't be.
I mean, there were so many rumors going to the finale about what spaghettification was. Because we saw it with Mr. Fantastic. We saw it with.
I don't think that was the same thing.
No,
I don't.
Who knows?
But yeah, I think they put a lot more money into visual effects and stuff like that, and I think it paid off, and it was obvious on screen. Like she said, that final scene, it was like, okay, this looks like cinematic. It doesn't look like a TV series.
Yeah.
So, really enjoyed Loki season 2.
Yeah.
What's your number 2?
My number 2 is not Loki.
Okay, fun. Here we go.
Guardians 3.
All right. So now the argument is, why is it worse than Loki?
I didn't say it was worse. Maybe a little bit. I think I loved Guardians 3. I think Guardians 3 was the best film to come out this year. But to me, it just missed where Guardians 2 was as far as story, as far as cinema experience. Don't get me wrong. Rocket's story was heartbreaking. I cried 3 times, right? They had all the false death. Rocket's about to die. Peter's about to die. JK, like Nebula's about to die. JK, Drax is about to die. No one died. Okay. Which is fine. You know, I like the fake outs, but I think of the trilogy, to me, it was the worst. I think because of trying to introduce Adam Warlock, it was trying to do too much such that it strayed from the main Guardian.
Yeah.
I think I will say it was a great way to set up the future, Guardians team. There's other mini storylines we could follow if we need to.
Yep.
Not saying we need to. Like, I don't need a Star-Lord on a ranch show. No. I wouldn't be opposed, but it would be my first watch.
Yeah.
A Star-Lord show that's
it's
like
him acclimating to like Earth and Earth culture.
That's
and
what
stuff.
Captain America should have gotten, but it's personal gripe. Chukwudi Iwuji's performance as High Evolutionary though was top tier, top tier.
Great,
frightening,
great villain.
Like
what I wanted from Kang.
Yes,
it was great.
The line that stuck out to me was like, "I found out there was no God, so I took over the role."
Yeah,
I'm like, oh shit, okay. Yeah. I think I like that it keeps its personality. It's so goofy. It's so. I mean, the Guardians aren't supposed to be the perfect team. Like they're all, for lack of a better word, like chaos personified, right, in their own way. What happens when you put a bunch of ticking time bombs together? Well, Guardians.
Yeah.
I don't know, just something about it for me. I think again, it was trying to do too much for me. I don't think that Adam Warlock thing should have been there. I think the Sovereign, thank you. They had to do it because it was in Guardians 2, but I think it deviated too much for me. It didn't really have a connection other than they're one of his experiments. Like, all right. Or one of the High Evolutionaries experiments. And again, there's this trend in this phase with children being like about to be murdered and then the hero saving them at the end of the day, right? Thor, Guardians, Secret Invasion, like don't know what's going on with that. Marvel, y'all okay over there?
Yeah.
Stop targeting the children.
Yeah.
And I get it's supposed to like we're supposed to be right. We don't want the kids harmed.
I felt enough for the animals in the film. I didn't need the
exactly
the kid threats. Like my daughter's 9 and she loves animals. Like what 9-year-old doesn't love animals? But that's the only MCU film like I can't let her. Like I just think it would break her heart.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
I think they could have gone darker with it.
Come on.
I don't know.
I mean, you couldn't have gone worse without changing the rating of the movie.
True.
Think about if you had been able to.
I mean, I think even the bloodiness of Rocket mauling Evolutionary itself was like it was a very thin line. Like
Great
they could have taken it just a little bit more in shading.
Yeah.
Now I'm scared of raccoons. I don't know. Raccoons are crazy.
I love finding out that he actually was a raccoon though. Like all that in the past, he's like, I'm not. What's a raccoon? He doesn't. I thought maybe there was an alien race on a different planet.
He's a Pikachu.
That looks like raccoon.
He's a Pikachu.
Okay. But I thought maybe he knew what he was talking about. You know, turns out he was a raccoon.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But no, I'm excited for the future. Right, we got the team of Groot, Rocket, Cosmo, love Cosmo, Phyla, Vel, who in the comics is Drax's daughter, correct?
But then in the MCU,
he's like his adopted daughter.
But in the MCU, all his family's gone, correct?
Yeah. So. Kraglin's in it, right? Adam, the little blurb blob thing. So I do the future with it. I don't hate it. It's just not my number one.
Yeah, I get it, man. No, it was great. And since that is my number one.
Well, what did y'all think of Guardians? Yeah. Does anyone want to talk about Guardians? Yeah, go for it.
Let's go.
So apart from us finally figuring out why Rocket's like a grumpy old man stuck in a raccoon's body.
He really is.
Yep.
Also, we get a little insight of Peter's mind after losing Gamora. Finally get a little bit of that.
Yeah, Gamora was in this film too.
Yeah.
See, that was just a lot.
It was a lot.
Putting too much in one film.
I have to say, did everybody see the Christmas special?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So when they cut to the townspeople and you see the band going on, it's the same band from the Christmas special.
Yeah.
Wait, is it really?
Yeah.
It's the same band from the Christmas special.
Did they film the holiday special like while they were filming Volume 3?
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they would have
save
to.
money. Yeah.
Yeah.
I disagree when it comes to Adam Warlock being unnecessary.
Oh, I love Adam Warlock.
Because Adam
I don't.
kind of
fight
pushed the sovereign, not the queen to call it a quick movie.
Aisha,
Yeah, kind of you kind of push her into her little pissy mood.
Yeah.
So we kind of get her moving to what, in my opinion, volume 2 we didn't get. She's just she wasn't as she was composed, but she really didn't show any feeling. Adam was kind of like pushing the button. I'm like, we need somebody to push the button. Let it be him.
There was like a scene missing there for me. Like, where does she go from like? I mean, Elizabeth Debicki is amazing. If y'all watch The Crown, fantastic. But yeah, she goes from this like I'm the regal HBIC to I'm tearing my hair out. Like the High Evolutionary is about to kill me.
My all-time favorite of Volume 3 actually has nothing to do with Rocket. It is seeing Kraglin come full circle and finding adopting Yahoo's not just the Arrow, but adopting Yahoo's mindset.
The leadership mindset.
I mean, the man was a walking, talking advice giver.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually starting to internalize all the wisdom that Yondu has impacted. We're finally getting to see a little bit more of Kraglin that we've been missing all of these movies.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Rooker's here. So is Sean Gunn.
So is Sean Gunn. Yeah.
And we're pulling him out now. No.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I loved it. It's my number one, man. I think that it was a perfect ending to that story of that group of Guardians. I think it was emotional. Like when they do Dog Days Are Over at the end and they're all dancing.
Love Florence.
Like, this is so like the music, man. All three films, I think. And a lot of people complained about like this film having too modern of music. And it wasn't modern. It was like 90s music, which is like, come on, dude.
No, is Florence 90s?
No, it's early. What,
Florence is like, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So there was modern stuff. Then there was like, there was stuff from the 90s. There was stuff from the 80s in it. I feel like Whereas the other films went kind of like the 70s mostly in the first one. And the second one, there was volume 2, right? It was a little more 80s. And then this one was kind of like all genres. I thought that was cool.
They had gone from the Walkman to an iPod.
Yeah. I thought it was cool. I thought it was the trajectory of the music in the movies and just the choices of what songs were used in every movie. Yeah. So good, man. Like my daughter and I listen to the soundtrack all the time.
I love that.
Because it's great. It's great. And we, by the way, just because of that, the Guardians holiday special, that, so this, but the song in the beginning, like, I don't know what Christmas is, that one, it's so good. We listen to it now. Yeah. And we listen to that now. Well, we listened to it on the way here today, several times. And then, like, we made a tradition of rewatching that every Christmas. Like, that's going to be a new Christmas tradition. Yeah. Yeah. Did we talk about Christmas?
About it at the, it was
last year.
Then. Yeah.
Yeah. It had come out right before.
Yeah.
And we put that in our rankings as well. Yeah.
When I talk to people about it and I try to give my one sentence summary of it, it's like the Drax and Human Traffic Kevin Bacon.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I would have loved a Kevin Bacon cameo in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could have happened.
For the lulz.
Yeah, just take out a little Adam Warlock stuff. Take out a little. What else did you say that they shoehorned in there? They had to.
A lot.
Yeah, there was a lot going on in it, but I do think that that's because they felt like they had to wrap up this whole storyline. So we needed to see. We needed to see what happened with all these things they set up in the second one, and I get that. I didn't think Adam Warlock was a necessary character, really. I don't. I didn't love him, and I think it's just because they made him too goofy. I wanted him to be like a badass
child.
I know. I hate that idea. I hate that they made him a child.
He's like the not smart Vision.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's stupid. Yeah,
literally.
That's stupid.
Literally.
Why do we do that?
He didn't have the Mind Stone.
I know why he's like that. I don't like that he's like that. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
true. Just Let vision be vision.
Well, that was his flaw. His flaw was he
was
had a
too visionary.
childlike mind, but like the powers of this like ultra powerful and and what we'll do in that situation. Like,
Right.
I get it. It's just
That'd be cool.
it'd be cool. And well, when they introduced him when he first flew in the beginning, that was crazy. I was like, oh, he's awesome. But then when they revealed that like he's very childlike, I was like, okay, this isn't as cool anymore. Like they made it silly. They tried to make it funny. They made it like, I don't know. I didn't love that about it. But I loved wrapping up the story with all the original Guardians team members. I loved the Rocket storyline was heart-wrenching. Me feeling that much for like an animated raccoon is like that was the most pulls on my heartstrings of all the Guardians stuff with Rocket's story, and I think most people feel the same like that.
Yeah,
it tugged on the heartstrings.
And I will say, I'll give credit where credit is due. I think Nebula has one of the best character arcs of the entire MCU.
Oh yeah,
following her from Guardians 1 to 2 to Avengers to one of the best character arcs.
I think that might be one of the best things about the Guardians trilogy as well, is everyone gets an arc.
Yeah.
And
that is how you do a team movie.
Yeah, and it's great. It's great. They did it, whereas like the Fox X-Men universe really honed in on Logan Wolverine, right? And as much as I love it, that's my favorite X-Men character, maybe my favorite comic book character, period. The X-Men is about the team, man. It's about all these different characters, and there's great characters there. Even stuff where like they made Cyclops just like this like jerk. Yeah. Total douchebag. Like
in both versions.
Yeah. And like, but he has like, there's a lot of character stuff there with him like struggling to like be the leader of this team and not having a life of his own really, but everyone else in line. And it's a struggle for him.
Right.
Like the burden of leadership, and we didn't see any of that at all because we were on Wolverine's story, in every single X-Men movie. And I feel like a team movie should really have an arc for every character that you care about. And this one did that, man. Like Drax, I cared about him because he lost his family. And I cared about Nebula because she was the daughter of a villain. She was a villain herself. And then who else? Rocket, obviously.
Gamora.
We went Gamora's story.
Peter. Groot.
Yeah.
We're back to tall Groot.
But yeah, we went to different versions of Groot. We went different versions of Gamora. It's kind of crazy. But the overall storyline, and then Peter comes full circle. Like in the end, he goes back and his grandfather is still alive.
Yeah.
Like, it's it was just a great way to wrap up that trilogy. Yeah, I thought they did it perfectly. And some people, I don't know what people's complaints were. Maybe it was the same as you, whereas like maybe it wasn't the high point of the trilogy for them. Maybe they thought 1 and 2 was better, and then 3 was not as good. Even if that's true, it's still damn good.
Absolutely,
it's still really good.
Absolutely.
Okay,
that's why it's my number 2.
Yeah,
better than the Marvels. Better than Quantumania. Better than Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
So then why is Loki better?
So why Loki is my number 1.
Let's hear it.
I am a huge mythology nerd.
Okay.
Greek mythology.
All mythology.
Roman mythology. Norse mythology. I am a huge mythology nerd. So of course when Loki became Yggdrasil, the tree of life, I'm like, wow, like he's literally giving life to all these multiverses, the multiverse, and I think what I did, I rewatched season 1 and season 2 back to back. I watched all 12 episodes together.
Yeah.
And you really see a clear story. I think part of the issue I had originally getting into episode 1, I was like, I don't remember what happened in season 1. Like, why does all this stuff matter? You watch them all like chronologically.
Better that way.
It goes so well because the director said, like, or the showrunner, it's like a book 1, book 2, chapter 1, chapter 2. that's why it all goes back into an Ouroboros. It's time itself.
Yeah.
It's that self-eating snake or whatever. I kind of also this whole thing of like he who remains like planned all this. Like this was his plan all along.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he knew he was gonna die.
Yeah.
And he knew he was gonna come back. He's still out there, right? Like he knew Loki would take over.
Yeah.
Which then just releases Kang. He knew all right, kill him, he'll be back because someone's got to do it. Like, the biggest thing about Loki, what you said, in every universe we saw him, he's a failure. And in a way, he still is.
Yeah.
Kang is still out there.
Yeah.
Kang's not dead. He didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
He just paused. He pushed back against Kang for a little bit, right? Is now with the TVA pruning variants, right? That's their new purpose at the end, but it just prolongs the damage that Kang's going to do. Just pauses it just a little bit. I know Sylvie got flack this season, like, oh, she didn't take accountability for like her own actions and all this, but I'm like, well, Sylvie's a Loki.
Yeah.
Loki wouldn't have. Like Sylvie hasn't had that same character development, not because they didn't give it to her, but it's just not her story.
Yeah.
She's still a Loki. She's still the goddess of mischief. Like she's going to say F it and do what she wants, just like any old Loki would. I'm excited for to see who comes back, right? Is and going to come back as Loki, and maybe he's the one that pulls the multiversal Avengers for the Dynasty War, right? For Secret Wars. He can do that, right? I love Ke Huy Quan, right, as OB. I would love to see him back.
Yeah.
I personally think Ravonna is probably going to control Eliath. Like,
yeah, she's going to have a role going for it. For
absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
I had read this rumor, and I want to get y'all's opinion on this. So in the comics, Ravonna and Kang are lovers, but I saw this theory. What if she's a Kang variant? Because they did have that like audio call that like someone that could be taken as like romantic, or could just be taken as like general to like war general.
Yeah.
I mean, because Marvel's already explored it having romantic,
like loving yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that doesn't also throw it out.
Exactly. Loki loves Sylvie. Is Ravonna just a Kang variant?
Yeah, I'm just going to plug my podcast real quick here, because if you go back, we actually created a commercial.
Oh, you did? I heard it. Yes.
We created a commercial all about that. It's called it's a dating site called Variant Love, and it's it's all about like falling in love with everyone really just craves themselves. So
the one thing that bothered me about this show, and it's not really about the show. Maybe this is more audience. I think it was intentionally not saying everything explicitly. Like Loki did this, and Loki read for 1,000 years, and now he understands everything.
Yeah.
A lot of it was like, you got to pay attention and draw your own conclusions.
Trust the audience.
And I think sometimes folks were like, well, you didn't tell me, so now it's not real. Like, this doesn't make sense. It's like, we are smart. We are Marvel fans. We can take the stuff that is in juxtaposition and make and understand and make knowledge from it.
Yeah, I feel like that's something we've seen. How many movies now? Like 30 different movies and series. And I think we got it by now. Like, you can trust us with information or lack of information.
Right.
It's actually more fun that way. Like when we get to speculate a little bit and try to, what are you doing over there?
It fell.
But yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was just okay until like it started getting towards the end, and I was like, oh, I see what they're doing here. Like, this is good.
Yeah.
They definitely nailed the landing, and that's one series that has been able to do that.
Yeah.
A lot of the series haven't been able to nail the landing. That final episode is always kind of a dud. Like, it's like not quite as good. Oh, episode 5 was a little better than the 6th episode. Like, come on.
And this is one of those series where if you don't watch it, need to necessarily watch it to see the movies. If you watch it, you're in for a ride and you're going to love it, but you don't have to. And I think that's what Marvel needs to be doing more, letting the shows take steps from the main MCU, not the MCU take steps from the shows.
Yeah.
Because you go into all the movies not having seen Loki.
Yeah, I thought it would be like, it sounded like a good idea in the beginning, but I actually think it would kind of be a mistake now to introduce characters in the series and then have them show up in movies.
Right.
Some people really aren't going to watch the series.
And that's okay.
They're just not. That's just the way it is. There's a mainstream audience, and then there's, you know, a
do a
MCU
small show
fan
on
audience.
film, and then give them a series. If people want to check it out, great.
Yeah, but I do think it would be cool if that would work. Like, oh, if we introduce the X-Men one character at a time, you know, like, you know, you get a Magneto and Charles Xavier story. We go back and do that. We do a Weapon X story for over here and somebody else's origin over here, and then we do an X-Men movie. Right. But the only problem with that is people on the series,
right?
It doesn't work. So
look at the Arrowverse.
Yeah,
I love the Arrowverse. That's not shade, I promise.
Yeah, we met Grant Gustin today.
We met Grant Gustin.
Kinda. We got a picture with him.
Yeah.
I agree, man. I think like obviously our lists are really similar this year, and I feel like
last year was chaos.
Yeah, last year it was a lot different.
You had Thor as your top movie.
Or
did I have Thor as my top movie?
Thor was the bottom of my
Are you
list.
sure?
It was the worst movie.
Someone fact check us.
Yeah. Thor 4? Really? You gotta be like the only person on that list that like everything that came out in 2022 was on.
That was a lot. That was a lot.
That was Black Panther. Which I love. How was that not first?
Yeah, we're.
What was? I don't remember my number one last year.
It wasn't Thor.
My
number one was Black Panther, and I think
no, mine wasn't.
Mine was.
Yours was, yeah. I don't remember what mine was. What was it? No.
Doctor Strange.
What came out last year?
Doctor Strange.
It was not my number one. No, my number one was a show. Oh, I think it was Moon Knight.
Okay, that's weird.
I love Moon Knight.
No, it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
I felt like Moon Knight.
I
feel like Moon Knight did what you like, which is be a standalone series, and it didn't have to connect to anything.
No, my number one was Knight. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which was great.
Yes.
Those specials were up there. They were in like my top 3 or 4. Both specials. So
it was definitely my top 3.
Yeah. It was number 1 for me, and I think 2 or 3.
2 or 3 for me. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking back, I'll be honest. Looking back, I'm not as impressed by Black Panther 2. Like number 1, amazing. Number 2, it's okay.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not blown. I mean, yeah. I think with what they were.
Dealt.
Yeah.
I can't remember who published this, but you know they were like talking about what their original plans for the movie, given that Chadwick was still alive. And it was supposed to be this like really like gut wrenching father-son story.
Yeah. Right. Which I would have loved, but
yeah. No, so, I think they did with what they had and what they needed to do with that film. I think they accomplished it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Michael B. Jordan. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hope we get to see him again with Secret Wars or something.
Oh yes. So that was last year. We talked this year. What's coming up? What are we looking for?
Echo, man.
Echo's coming up. How do we feel about Echo? Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Daredevil was in it. Oh, Daredevil was definitely in it. Yeah. So now, when Hawkeye came out, there was shade at Echo. Were y'all like
a little bit?
Yeah,
a little bit.
Some shade was being thrown at Echo.
Can I give a bit of a
please?
I think Hawkeye is Disney Plus's best show.
It is. I agree with you. Hawkeye is the best series they've put out.
I will grant you that.
It's really good.
I could sit and rant to you guys about things for hours.
It's so good. So how'd you feel about Ms. Marvel recruiting Kate Bishop at the end of the Marvels?
I did.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I really do think that Ms. Marvel's character was casted very well. I also really like Kate Bishop's character.
Haley Steinfeld.
Haley
Yes.
Steinfeld's great.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Hawkeye is my favorite Disney Plus show.
I love that.
It's good, man.
Marvel show is Daredevil. Clearly, you see how
Yeah,
he's dressed.
same.
It wasn't made by Disney.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Not yet.
Same.
yeah. So not yet. But I'm making it a tradition that every winter I have to rewatch.
Yeah,
Hawkeye.
it's a
I love
Christmas
that.
show.
I love that.
It's
Yeah.
a total Christmas show. I love
Yeah.
it.
Iron Man 3 is a Christmas movie. I'm totally rewatching that again.
And Guardians.
That's a hot. Will, you and
Christmas
I have
special.
fought over this. Is Iron Man? Raise a hand. Is Iron Man 3 a Christmas film?
Yes.
I mean, if Die Hard's a
Okay.
Christmas film.
Die Hard is not a Christmas film. No.
Come on.
Okay, by the logic that you would count Iron
Takes
Man
place
3
at a Christmas party.
movie, you would also have to count Die Hard. So don't be a hypocrite.
Yeah.
They both are, and neither of them are.
In fairness, I've never watched Die Hard.
Okay, see?
Okay, so then you don't get to have
Okay.
an opinion.
Fair enough.
It takes place at Christmas.
It takes place. Okay.
So,
So next year we got Echo coming out in January.
yeah, real soon.
Yeah, and it's all supposed
Oh.
to drop at once.
Yeah, this is one thing that, for one, it bugs me because my podcast like covers each show as it comes out, like week to week.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a tough.
I'm into
week.
but hey, they're saying if it doesn't, I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll go back to one by one.
Plus,
in
I like the
future.
anticipation of week to week, like waiting to see what happens. But
Yeah.
So they're also doing a similar thing with What If Season 2.
That's on Christmas.
So they're doing it
21st, 22nd of
Right.
this month.
and then the 22nd, the 23rd, the 24th, the 25th, 9 episodes in a row, day by day.
Wow,
Releasing it one a day.
that'll be cute. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. I
Me
enjoyed
too.
What If Season 1. I love this idea of if you're going to do multiverse, let's see some different versions of what could happen.
What if season?
Yeah.
Yes.
What if season 1? We now have a clip of Jeremy Renner saying, "My will to live meter is flatlining."
Oh gosh. Yes, this is true.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a good show.
I think so. I mean, and if it's anything like Season 1, it's going to be entertaining.
Yes.
It's not going to,
At
it's
minimum.
not like crazy move the MCU forward or anything. It's fun though. Like it's fun just to have one-off episodes.
Yeah.
That but it was also cool that they ended up connecting by the end
Yeah.
last year.
As much as so another potentially hot take, out of the 4 Avengers movies, I rank Age of Ultron number 2.
Age of Ultron gets better once
Number
everything
2?
after it is watched.
It's true.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I do
Yeah.
have to admit they nerfed Ultron.
Yes.
However, they bring him back to kind of what he's supposed to be in What If.
In What If, absolutely.
Mhm.
You know, that's
Yeah, he's scary. And What If?
So
Yeah.
Marvel, like MCU, we only got Echo, Deadpool 3, and Agatha.
And
Which
I'm not
I'm
even
excited
sure
for
about
'cause-
Agatha. Have they announced a release date or anything?
It's coming out.
changing the name of it, and
Yeah.
I think they need to stop.
But I'm excited because Billy's in it, like teenage
Really?
Billy. Yeah,
That's cool.
played by Joe Locke from Heartstopper.
Cool.
Yeah, Speed and Wiccan.
So we're getting at least Wiccan. I don't know about Speed yet, but we're getting Wiccan.
I'm sure if Wiccan's there, they're going to put Speed in there.
We're
Yeah.
fully getting Young Avengers in the future. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got the Marvel adjacent stuff coming out,
Marvel adjacent stuff.
like the Sony stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because allegedly, and I say allegedly because Sony moves shit all the time.
What did you think of that
Madam Web?
Madam Web trailer?
I think
It didn't
it's
s-
like a fan-made trailer.
It looks like a fan-made trailer. It doesn't say anything.
It's so funny because you literally said it looks like a CW,
A CW show.
Yeah. And now we're hearing fan-made trailer. Yeah. I'm not super pumped about that one, man.
I don't see the need for it.
No,
Also, the trailer doesn't, the trailer doesn't say anything about what the movie's about.
not really.
And then the next trailer, I'm sure we'll tell you what the movie's about because that's Sony
That's what
for
they
you.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
So not looking forward to it. Will I watch it? Probably. But will I like it? Probably not.
We have, the two of us have a tradition ever since we started that we have to go see every Marvel film. So that like anything with a Marvel title. So
Yeah.
like,
Anything. Okay.
and that goes in theaters on opening day.
You are
So-
brave souls. I go on Tuesdays when it is a discounted ticket.
Yes.
I am worried that Deadpool's going to get it before I'm going to take it back before at
Yeah, look, I'm an adult. I can. Well,
As someone who used to work at a movie theater, as long as you have an adult with you, you're fine.
exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah.
And then comes out next year.
Well, look, the trailer looked kind of dope. It looked kind of cool.
He got bit by a radioactive lion.
Okay, but yeah, they're playing with the story too much. Okay.
Yes.
I feel like they should have done a Kraven's Last Hunt storyline.
Yes.
And they could have tied
in a
like
Spidey film
with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
A
I'm
Tom
tired
Holland
of
Kraven's
Sony.
Last Chef's kiss.
Yes, I'm tired of Sony trying to make all the villains anti-heroes. Just stop. You're gonna make all of them anti-heroes, so we're gonna root for all of them. Venom.
I mean, you didn't see the critically acclaimed Mobius?
That's what I'm saying. Morbius.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. They're trying to make them. They're trying to make us root for the villain, and then what? You're gonna turn around and have us root for Spider-Man against them? It's gonna be kind of hard to do. I don't think they're working with Marvel Studios. Spider-Man has been pretty great, but I don't think any of the stuff outside of that has been particularly. Like Venom was okay. I don't think anything's been particularly like amazing.
And what'll upset me is in the inevitable Spider-Man 4, if it's another multiversal film because Sony's trying to shoehorn in all their characters, I don't want that. We already had a multiversal Spider-Man film. Give me a Spidey in college doing friendly neighborhood Spider-Man things.
Well, I guess it's an MCU project. What are your guys' opinions on Across the Spider-Verse, since that was a Marvel project release?
Amazing. I loved it more than the first one. That one comes
number
out.
one. That's my number one then. Fully number one.
Right. It's not MCU.
Marvel adjacent.
Yeah, Marvel adjacent.
One adjacent then.
I don't like Miguel. He's a whiny little baby.
He's traumatized.
So are most people. Why do people like him? I don't under the impression we're not supposed to like him.
Yeah.
He's straight too far away from his.
Absolutely.
I don't want people saying like he's this horrible wounded but we're not supposed to like him. He's trying to kill our main character. I don't get where the sympathy is coming.
I mean, I feel like they kidified Miles Morales a bit too much in the second one. I feel like they took some maturity and growth he made in the first movie and never happened a little bit. It wasn't bad overall. I really liked the Spot. I think he's a very well done villain.
That was funny.
And of course,
that was
Peter Parker. Always has a spot in my heart. But
yeah, I think that and that has potential to be some of the best. Like with a third film, which is coming out this spring.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Since when?
It definitely.
Bro, they haven't even started designing that.
Well, that's stupid. They said it said next year.
It's Sony.
Leave it to Sony. If Sony, you don't want it to come out next year, or it's going to be a nightmare. Give it time to be up. Yeah, this is one of the ones that you give it time.
Either way, it's great.
If you don't, it's going to be up next.
Spider-Noir was like one of my favorite characters from the first one, and he didn't exist at all. So I was a little bummed about that.
I was personally upset Peter Porker did not make a return, but
yeah, you hosted a podcast based on Peter Porker.
Peter Porker Power Hour still on Apple Podcasts if you want to listen with my friend Will.
But then John Mulaney had to go and do all the things that he did, and it's like,
Yeah.
I don't really need to see you return anymore. I mean,
I'll do it. The last film though that's supposed to come out next year, Marvel adjacent, is Venom 3. Unless that's been moved, which I think it will be moved. But
whatever, it's up.
I didn't like Venom 2. Venom 1 was
okay.
A C level movie for me. Venom 2 happened too quickly. I don't remember it. I don't think Venom 3 is gonna break anything.
Venom 1 started out slow.
Yes.
Venom 2 hit the action straight out the gate.
Yes.
You pushed too hard.
So why do we give Sony grace, but we don't give Marvel grace? Maybe that's what we should talk about.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe it's because people love Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire so much, and that's like a fundamental part of their childhood.
Yeah.
Versus those are older. So I would have to say Marvel's largest fan base is probably millennials and older Gen Z.
Yeah.
So because Sony
Is that what we are?
Sony.
What's this we? I'm like 10 years older than you.
Yeah.
That's what you think.
Yeah.
Because Sony had such an influential part
Yeah.
in the main audiences.
Yeah.
Sure. Maybe.
More so than the MCU did, just because of sheer timing of release dates.
Yeah.
I think that might be, it just sticks.
I mean, I will still say Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire is one of the best comic book films ever.
It is. I think that the MCU and is the expectations got too high.
Yeah.
Is what happened. It became.
And then what's MCU's best? And then shove those two against each other, and then come and see what.
Spider-Man 2 versus Guardians 2. Who wins? Live action. Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2 versus Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Which is the better film? Is this dependent on what generation you're in and grew up with?
I think maybe. I think 2, especially because of when it was made and it didn't have the blueprint.
Yeah.
That all these other, it's got to take it. I think.
It is a good film. But I also know my favorite movie is such a hot take. Iron Man 2. So is mine.
Okay. Not bad. I just reviewed that on Patreon. So.
Yeah. So it's like.
Wow. Okay. You guys are. Yeah. I think you guys are just like.
Give me a letter.
I don't know. I lose my train of thought when I'm
Long
podcasting.
COVID. That's what it does to you.
The only reason I would ever say is Spider-Man 2 over Guardians 2. Spider-Man 2 gave me my celebrity crush, which is Daniel Gillies. Because Daniel Gillies played J. Jonah Jameson's son, the one that leaves.
Oh,
I did not know that. I did not know
Interesting.
that.
Didn't either.
For me, I think Spider-Man 2, because without it, MCU today would.
MCU does not exist. Nope.
Yeah.
If it flopped, if Spider-Man 2 flopped,
Yeah.
MCU wouldn't have existed.
And personally, I don't think Spider-Man 3 is that bad.
Okay.
But I also love all the villains in it. But that's another podcast.
Yeah. I feel like we've been talking too long. You're getting tired. That's what's going on here.
I could go on about different things.
Should we wrap up?
Yeah, I think let's wrap it up.
Cool.
Let's wrap it up.
Cool.
We're over the time we're supposed to be anyway.
Oh, that's fine.
I appreciate everyone showing up, being a part of the show. Don't forget to get your shirts on the way out. Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I hope we get to do it again next year.
Let's do it. Let's do it with the one movie we'll review.
Yeah, we'll do a different theme next year. Maybe we'll just
we'll have Deadpool.
Yeah.
We'll have Agatha.
Yeah.
We'll have Echo. That's 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Whatever. It'll be a discussion more so than a ranking next year.
We'll have Madam Web.
Yeah.
It's going to be clearly our number 1 next year. Dakota Johnson.
All right. Right. Yeah. This is usually what our what my podcast does is kind of goes. We don't stick to the subject at all. But if you're into that sort of thing, please go seek out the podcast Marvel Plus. Yeah.
You have a Facebook group where people comment,
I do have a Facebook group where everyone kind of like talks back and forth about like not just the latest episode, but anything MCU, anything Marvel, anything.
And something Bret does too is when he records a new podcast, he'll invite anyone on. So if y'all want to be on his podcast in the future, you can.
That's the kind of the theme is we bring on a new guest like each episode. So we get a new perspective, fresh perspective, like every week. It's kind of like you get some different perspective on the show.
Marvel and the guest is the plus.
That's right. Marvel Plus 1.
I made that up right now.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, send me an email. Yeah. Marvel Plus Podcast, gmail.com.
Yeah.
If you ever want to revisit Iron Man, I will definitely.
I just did Iron Man 2 on Patreon, I think.
Yeah.
I do like Iron Man 3.
But I'm working my way back through the old, the original MCU.
I hate that you said old.
So, stop. Yeah. Phase 1.
Phase 1.
So how far are you away from doing Civil War? Because I could.
I'm still a little ways.
I could donate it.
Still a little ways.
I really do love Dark World. I really do.
Okay.
I think you got your Dark World guest.
I think I found Dark World's guest. Yeah, for sure.
It's my number 1 MCU.
I will gladly guess for Civil War, and your podcast episode could potentially.
It's just gonna be a
if you've ever been interested in the 24-hour stream,
That's you on Civil War.
I love
Yeah.
that.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you,
Thank you.
Alejandro.
Yeah, thank
for
you,
being part
Bret.
of the show. Thank you, everyone watching at home. If you're still watching, I appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully we'll be back next year.
Cool.
Thank you.
Send off to GalaxyCon.
Yeah, this is enjoy the weekend. There's still another day of GalaxyCon to go.
Go party.
Have a good time.
Don't do things to quote Tony Stark. Don't do anything I would do, but also don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Yes.
It's a very thin line. Yes.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. This has been Marvel Plus.
Woo!
Go check out the podcast. Thank you.
Yeah, don't forget your shirts, y'all. Wherever they are. Oh, they're on there.
Oh, they're in the orange
I was like, where are they? How do I turn this off? I'll just leave it on.
I will go to war over Wakanda.
Okay, are you